Ladies and gentlemen, if the reports that Deputy President William Ruto is making, that there are inside plans to make sure that he is moved out, I don't think it's about kicking, moved out of current residence is something to go by. Then from where I'm seated here, this is part of the plan to destabilize his presidential bid. But just a question before this goes deep. Between the push or the rational need to destabilize William Ruto's campaigns in a scheme that is also seen as attracting in equal measure sympathy or playing the victim card, do you think that it is going to work in favor of Deputy President, or this is something that shall not yield any political season, any political fruit? We must be cognizant of the fact that we are in a political season. So everything that is done will be understood in the confines of the political space. So this is what is emerging. Deputy President today, while speaking in Ngong Racecourse, during the event where they were signing their coalition agreements, he actually stated that there were plans by the State Ministry of State Department, Ministry, I think, of Infrastructure and State Public Works, to issue vacate notice from the current residents so that the office can be renovated. The truth of the matter here is this is just a scheme, one plan to make sure that he's removed from that office. And of course, this is not something that is new. But to make us understand this, I want to help you get how we even reached here. One, I want to take you back to 2010. After the promulgation of the new constitution, there was a body known as Transition Authority. So under the Transition Authority, the allocation was made and the official residence of Deputy President was actually built. Now that building or that home sits on 10-acre piece of land and was built by taxpayers' money, 400 million. And this photo here is when President Mwai Kibaki, the former President Mwai Kibaki, came out publicly and launched that residence. By the way, it was supposed to be occupied by Kalonzo Musyoka, and Kalonzo Musyoka refused, saying that he could not go to stay there for only 6 months because he was not sure whether he was going to be the next VP. He was going to be the first deputy president. Remember, by that time, Kalonzo Musyoka was a vice president. So part of what Transition Authority did is Ruto took that house, was the first occupant of that house, and he moved from his house. He used to have another home that he bought just around the Karen in 2010. Now that home was then converted to be an extension of the Western Hotel. So Ruto took over that residence. That residence has a bedroom and security spaces, security units, and also guest house for, I think, some 3 guest house of that. And then also security structures have also been erected there. Part of what Ruto inherited was Raila's office in Harambee House. Then Rachel Ruto inherited Mama Ida's office, which was in NHIF building. Now, this issue of renovation is not new, because in 2018, there was a budget that was splashed, and it came out that there was a plan to renovate both State House and William Ruto's office and William Ruto's residence. By then, at that time, it was that one in Mombasa. Then remember the drama, the fiasco around that story, because when Ruto went there, they were kicked out and they were told that the house is being renovated. So Deputy President has 2 residents. There's this one in Karen, and there is the other one at the coast. Now, by there, I have not confirmed whether it was complete so that Deputy President could then occupy it. So the issue of renovation is not new. But then, that is how we got here. Now, this is one thing that I want Kenyans to know, that if Ruto is to be kicked from that house, then he must still enjoy the perks of a deputy president. So what is likely to happen is they want to make sure they can move him from the current residence, maybe to Mombasa. Because Mombasa is where there is also another house that is being built, another home that was built by government as the office, as the residence of deputy president. Or if he is moved out of the current residence, he might opt for private. But if he opts for private, most likely there are some privileges that he might not get. In fact, security extensions and that much infrastructure he might not get. So I want us to face it why I feel. I want to explain to you why I feel that any attempt to move him from Karen to maybe his private residence or maybe the Mombasa residence is going to destabilize his campaigns. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to our channel and also click the notification bell. When we publish these videos, you will be notified. First, I want you to listen to Ruto speaking there about this issue.
Number one, I understand that we will have a new deputy president in a couple of months after the next general election. But I also understand that he will be, or she will be for that matter, a Kenya Kwanza deputy president. I'm very confident. And I want to tell the good people who want to assist us with the renovation that for Kenya Kwanza, renovating the residence of the deputy president is not a priority. The priority is to sort out the hunger of the close to 3 million Kenyans who today are sleeping hungry.
This is what I want to mention. Number one, if Ruto is moved out of that house, there is going to be shift of operation center. Most likely, like I think, look at this photo here. Someone was, when I was doing just my own research, I bumped on this photo that this is a photo of the Mombasa residence. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're saying something like that. Now, if that is to happen, the current residence is not only for him and the family. It is also an office where he coordinates his politics. So if he has to stay within Nairobi, then he has to opt for private residence because government do not have another deputy president residence within Nairobi, and most likely they might ask him to move to Mombasa. Now, if that is to happen, of course, Nairobi is the epicenter. Nairobi is where these things can easily be coordinated. And you also know the security concerns in Mombasa. So, most importantly, this will be a move to shift, and this shift is what is going to destabilize his operations. Remember, even all his choppers are stationed at Wilson Airport. And all these meetings are coordinated from there because it's also at the center. When you want to meet people from Mombasa, the Western Beat, the Central, and these other parts, Nairobi is a bit strategic. So the shift is going to affect his campaigns. Number two, the security details are also going to be sized down. If he moves from that place and goes to a private residence, most likely that his security details will be sized down because whatever he is getting at current residence was actually customized because of that home. And I think if he's entitled to all that, that entitlement is there because of that home. Now, if he moves to another place, that is there. And of course, this is most likely because, remember, Ruto was once accused during that security restructure story that he donated some of his security personnel to members of parliament within UDA who had lost their bodyguards because who government withdrew their bodyguards for one reason or the other. So that is really something that is there. But then I want us to look at some two aspects in this issue. One is This is signaling plans of a transition to create the losing perception. Someone wants to tell Kenyans that DP Ruto should leave that office because they are already renovating that office to another deputy president. By the way, if Ruto loses the general election, the August 9th general election, there will be a new occupant in that house. But that new occupant cannot just move in immediately. There are going to be renovations and some changes that are there because, of course, that is a place where Deputy President William Ruto was staying. So the perception they want to create is that you're already losing this election, and so as we're just moving, there's just that transition. That's why someone I saw asking, why is it just Deputy President's office? Why not the State House? And of course, it's a valid question. Now, number two, and this is the punchline, and I want to tell you this is why Ruto will never want to listen to anything like this. Because this will be a scheme to smoke, or rather to play very dirty politics on Deputy President. I want to say smoke plans or play dirty politics ahead of general elections. Let me tell you, if Ruto leaves that residence today, or maybe having known that this is now happening and he doesn't feel comfortable, he might move out. Then in the process of that renovation, things can be planted there, and the headlines that you might see in media is 5 dangerous weapons we found in the office of Deputy President. They can throw in very other aspects that can be used against him. That's why I say their dirty politics can be played. It is a window for that to be done. And that is why he's also, though he's playing it hard, but he doesn't want to hear of anything like that, because this can be used against him. You never know. I may not be shocked. If Ruto moves out today, the next day the team that works there comes up with fabricated stories. And this is politics. And of course, you cannot deny that is most likely to happen. But then we are going to general election. And I can tell you, if he moves out and goes to Mombasa, because that's what government can offer, if government is to still offer him that chance, and he moves to Mombasa, then you know his base will be in Mombasa. So if he's to be put under house arrest of anything of the sort, it is most likely not, it is just more easier when he's out of the Nairobi. I'm not spelling a doom, and I'm not saying that this is the direction that Kenya should take. But we're in a political season where it's not new, where politicians have always said that I was under house arrest. Remember the NASA people once saying that things were never good on our side and that. So I want to believe that there are deeper details to this. But the question is this. So if this is supposed to happen, who has smoked it to Deputy President? Because even the media did not have this story. So is it someone within this ministry or within this office smoked this